it is Hailey, aka Hailey's Hobbies, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about my hobbies. Hello, hi. So, we are doing a knitting podcast, which I haven't done one of these, I think, since March. I had to go back and look at the podcast to see like what I've shown y'all. I have a lot of new stuff. It's August now, so that's a lot of time knitting. I have a couple finished objects. Quite a few of them y'all haven't even seen like on the needles yet, so they're brand new. Some new whips and a lot of new yarn because I've been buying some yarn, but we're on a yarn ban now. But yeah, if you only tune in for the knitting podcast, apologies for not uploading in a while. I kind of took a break from knitting for a little bit and now I'm back. I kind of do my like spurts with knitting, if that makes sense. Like I'll knit quite a bit for like a month or two and then I'll kind of take a break for a month and then knit a bit for a month or two. And so yeah, so for a while I just didn't have anything to show y'all, but we're back now because I have a lot to show and I would like to share that with y'all. A few like apologies. First of all, the air conditioning is really loud. I do apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do. There's also something's going on with like the planes, I don't know, here. So if you only watch the podcast, I've moved back to College Station. I'm gonna start a PhD, which is why we're also in like a new area. And these planes are doing their drills or something today, so there's a lot of like meow sounds, so I do apologize. And I'm actually gonna turn off my diffuser because I feel like you can hear it. Yes, anyway, so the air conditioning will shut off in a little bit, but I have a lot to show y'all, so let's just go ahead and jump in. Not wearing any knitwear. I could actually though, because it's quite cold in this apartment. I just took a really hot shower, so I'm a little warm right now, but definitely during the winter we will be wearing some knitwear in this apartment. It is so freezing. But first of all, let's talk about some finished objects. I have a lot, as you can tell. So first and foremost, I did finish my cloud sweater by Petite Knit. This was a work in progress in the last episode. I believed I had finished everything but these sleeves. And now it's all done, and it's so pretty, and I love it so much. It has not been blocked yet, but I feel like I don't really need to block it. I feel like it looks pretty good, it fits pretty well. I might still block it and kind of block in some length, but I feel like tension-wise, because the yarn is pretty like hairy, you can't really, I mean, maybe you can see my tension, but I feel like it looks beautiful. I love this sweater. I was obsessed with the cloud sweater by Petite Knit ever since it was released, and I knew I wanted to knit it, and so I let myself think on it for a few months because I'm pretty indecisive when it comes to purchasing knitting patterns and everything. I want to make sure I'm not just purchasing things like in the heat of the moment or whatever, but I still really loved it a few months later, so I did buy it. I love the ribbing and like the rolled hem. I just think it looks so nice, and I love this neckline. I think it looks really pretty. And I believe this is made with German short rows, and it has this really cool detail when you're picking up for stitches along the like front shoulder where you're doing purls instead, and same with like the sleeves when you pick up the sleeve stitches. I have y'all perched like within a shelf, so there's a rod right here, so I actually don't know. Okay, yeah, I can see around the rod now. I'm showing y'all that. It's hard to see, so if I'm not in view, I do apologize. I'll fix it for like the next podcast, but I do see myself, so I think that's a good sign. But yeah, I really love this. I didn't knit it as long as the pattern suggested just because I didn't want to. So I may block, like a few inches of, length into it at some point. But for now, it's just looking like this, and I'm very happy with it. The yarn is K&C Cloud Paca, and I believe this color is Colony Blue. This is not the right, this is a different color, but it's their Cloud Paca yarn. I got this from Joann's, RIP Joann's. Joann's is where I get like all my yarn. Literally, I think all this yarn here except for one project is from Joann's. But yeah, so that was the yarn. I love the yarn. I don't know where you can get it now, but it is 28% polyamide, 14% merino wool, and 58% baby alpaca. And I love it, and I'm so sad that I don't have access to it anymore. I would have loved to make like a cardigan out of this. I think that would have been nice, but I just think this is the prettiest blue. This year I'm doing my room in like blue and green, so I just bought this blue gingham like bed, like a, what's it called, duvet cover, and then I'm just living for this blue as well. So very happy that I have this finished and that I can show you all that. Yeah, I feel like it's hard to talk about my knits sometimes because I'm just like, yeah, it was great. And you know, I tend to knit stock knit, so there's not really much to talk about. Anyway, so the next thing I have is another scarf, and this I think really does need to be blocked because it's kind of curling a little bit, and I think it'll look really nice once it's blocked. So this is also K&C yarn. Now I think I lost it, but I do believe I've featured this in a podcast, maybe the last episode, so you can go check out that if you want to know more about the yarn. But I know this is at least called mushroom foraging, I think. The color mushroom foraging, or maybe not. What pattern was this? Hold on. I normally will make the what's it called, like the cantaloupe shawl from Drops Design, just because it's really easy and it's kind of like a Sophie shawl dupe, and it's not quite the same, like the edges aren't like I-cord. I believe the Sophie shawl is I-cord. So I wanted to try a new pattern, and I found this one, which I believe is also kind of a dupe for the Sophie shawl. I don't have a Sophie shawl, so I don't know how like closely the pattern is to the Sophie shawl. But if you want something similar, the pattern's super easy to understand, and I feel like I really mastered I-cord with this. One edge is I-cord, and I feel like I did a really good job, and I really like I-cord. I have the info in here. So this is the knit like K&C Splendid Superwash in the color Mushroom Foraging. I used 3 skeins, and usually what I do when I make this style of shawl scarf kind of thing where I'm increasing on one side and then decreasing on the other is that I use 1 skein for increasing, 1 skein just to go straight across and just get some more length in there, and then 1 skein to decrease. And I have like one what's it called, scarf that I really love that I did this with, and so I was really excited to make like a brown, just like a nice brown of like a shawl, like solid brown. And obviously it's very thick. I didn't realize it'd be so thick, otherwise I would have kind of managed my yarn a little better. But I really like it, and I'm really excited to wear it when the time comes for like some colder weather. I can kind of wear it more as a shawl since it's so thick, or I guess wide, or I can wear it more, you know, like this. So I really like it. The yarn's very soft, and it's just a simple garter stitch. And I believe the yarn is, I don't know if it's hand dyed. As you can see, I have a different like dye lot here. I mean, actually they're the same dye lot, but for some reason this one's a lot lighter, so that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But I really love this. I love this color brown, and very excited to use this. I think it'll be nice and warm. Moving rapidly along, because this is going to be a long podcast, I decided to use up some scraps that I have or had of the Big Twist Living yarn, and they have a couple different Pride yarns, and so I believe this color is called Spirit, I think is the name it goes by. And so what I ended up doing was holding 2 strands double and making a bunch of accessories. So first and foremost, I made a balaclava because I feel like I'm a little late to the balaclava trend, but I kind of wanted to make one. I have bangs, obviously, so beanies I don't tend to wear just because they mess up my bangs, and so, you know, my head gets cold, my ears get cold, and so I thought maybe a balaclava would be a good thing to try, so I figured I could, you know, make a balaclava. So that's what I did, and honestly it wasn't too bad. I just made I self-drafted this, so I just made a giant like rectangle, just knitted a rectangle, and then put those stitches on hold, and then picked up stitches around, and then picked these stitches back up, and then picked stitches up around, and then I was just knitting in this U shape until I got, you know, to my chin, and then I did ribbing. I believe I did twisted rib, just because I thought that looked nice, and then I added ribbing around and added a little tie, and I think this is a crochet tie, and I believe it looks like I crocheted a couple different, oh no, this is braided. I braided this, and I braided a couple different strands together to kind of get a bit more length, and so I just thought this would be good considering my bangs. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I held 2 strands double, and I kind of alternated where I held them, so that way I could get this marling effect, because otherwise you get more of like a stripe pattern. But yeah, I really love how it turned out, and very excited to wear that as well. I love this yarn. I feel like it's just a really nice like acrylic yarn from Joann's, although I believe Michael's is now carrying a couple lines of Big Twist. I don't know if they're actually, I do think they are carrying Big Twist Living, but I believe the name is changing, so if you're interested, keep an eye out of that. But I did also make some mittens. Again, these were super easy. Let's see, what did I do? I believe I did Jenny's Magic cast on. No, that's not right. I did whatever cast on, Turkish cast on, that sometimes I'll use for like toe up socks. So it creates like a really seamless cast on edge, and then I just knit like a few rounds, like 1 or 2 rounds I think, because this yarn's pretty thick, and then did increases until I got as wide as my hands, kept knitting down, put thumb stitches on hold, and then casted on a few stitches around the thumb, obviously, to get back here, kept knitting, did the ribbing, and then I didn't do any twisted, I didn't do twisted rib on this either. I don't know why I thought I did, but no twisted rib here, and then I casted it on for the thumb, and then did Kitchener stitch to close it up. And I didn't do any decreases or anything on the thumb, I don't think. I think I just like knitted straight and then cast it off, so yeah. Oh no, I lied. I did do some decreases around the opening just because I casted on some extra stitches. So yeah, I did the same thing with the balaclava, where I alternated what yarn like was going with which color. And yeah, we got a, you know, marling effect, which is really nice. And I'm really happy with how the thumb turned out, because it kind of matches, like, you know, like this would be a lot weirder if it was like red, but like it has the purple in there, and then like the yellow to go with that, and then this has like the orange and the red. So very happy with how these turned out. Again, super simple. I'm very excited to wear these for the winter. And then I also made some fingerless gloves, and I basically did the same thing, except I just didn't, you know, I just cast it on around the edge, and I just did like a rolled, like I didn't even like do anything for the cast on and cast off edge. I'm just letting it roll, and because this yarn's pretty thick and pretty stiff on its own, it kind of just stays. So yeah, we got some fingerless mittens as well, and I'm excited to wear these. I love, like, my fingers get cold so easily, so I really do love mittens, but I feel like fingerless gloves are a bit more practical. So these will definitely be more helpful during the transitional months. I have a feeling it's going to be a very cold winter here in Texas, because the summer, we haven't even gotten over 100 degrees yet, and it's like, it's August. It's the beginning of August when I'm filming this. I'm aware that y'all are seeing this video like next month. That's how far ahead I'm pre-filming stuff. But we haven't had 100-day heat yet, so I'm wondering if our winter is going to be pretty cold this year. So yeah, we'll see. So that is the other finished objects that I have, finished accessories. And then we have some new finished objects. These are like pretty much done. I just have one thing that I need to do to the other one. So I've started taking dance classes again. I took ballet all my life, jazz all my life, did character, lyrical, contemporary, more theatrical stuff. I was gonna say character, but I realized I already said character. And then I was thinking like theater, you know, like Fosse and stuff. But anyway, so I've been taking dance classes again, and it's been really nice. I'm trying to be more mobile, move my body more. I saw this video of these really old like senior ladies, like in their 70s, like 60s or 70s, just dancing like they were in high school, and I was like, y'all are incredible, y'all are on point, and like you, like if you just covered your face, like you wouldn't know that they were like senior citizens, you'd think they were teenagers, and they were just incredible. And so that really inspired me to get back into dance and kind of regain my mobility and everything. And so I once again unraveled my Fiberfest, what is it, 2022 knitted shawl that I've been wanting to make. Again, I really liked it, but the yarn was just too thick. I mean, it looked a lot better than the yarn I had used originally, but definitely still probably a bit too thick, although I think I could have gotten away with it after blocking. But I decided that I was tired of trying to make it, so maybe one day we will come back to that pattern, because I do really love that pattern. But then I was just trying to figure out what to do with like 13 balls of Drops alpaca. Oh, I lied, Drops Lima, my bad. I don't know why I said it like that. Drops Lima in the color 9031, or better known as Pistachio Ice Cream. Such a beautiful blue. Drops Lima, in case you're curious, is 65% wool, 35% alpaca, so this is very warm and very soft. And what I ended up doing was unraveling all that I had made, and I made leg warmers for ballet classes. So yeah, this is what these look like. I just casted on 80 stitches or so, and did 3 rounds of just stockinette, and then did a round or 3 rounds of 1x1 ribbing, and then just knitted straight down, and then at the other end 3 rounds of ribbing, 3 rounds of stockinette, and then cast it off, so that way I could get the little rolled edge like in the cloud sweater, just because I love that so much. And I made my 2 leg warmers, and I blocked them and washed them and everything, and they're perfect. They're super long, they like go all the way up my thigh, so, and then go down all the way to my legs, so that's really great. And they are a tad big. I probably could have, you know, taken maybe like 10 stitches off or something. And so they fit really well, but they do fall since they're not, you know, supported by anything. So I have sewed in some elastic, so that's great, so that helps keep them on, and all I have to do is just sew in the other elastic. So that's my plan for probably tomorrow's when I'll do this. And yeah, then I'll be able to wear my leg warmers, so super excited about that. I have plans now with a lot of my yarn to make leg warmers, so I'll get into that when I show y'all. But I'm like, ooh, I've unlocked a new accessory. So this will be a lot of fun. So I'm very excited about that. And I still have quite a bit of yarn left over. So I'll talk a bit more about what I'm doing with the extra yarn, but I really love this yarn now that I've blocked it and everything. It's just so nice. And what I really want to do is to make a sweater out of this yarn. It's just so nice. So once I get through all my yarn, which I have quite a bit now, not as bad as I feel like larger, you know, channels and everything, but I have quite a bit of yarn now, enough projects to last me for probably like almost a year. Once I get done with all my yarn, assuming this yarn hasn't been discontinued, I will be buying it to make like a cardigan or a sweater. It just blocked out so lovely and nice and pretty, and I love it. So I'm very happy about this finished object. So yes, anyway, so let's get into whips. I have a few, and we have a few appearances of some whips that are new, and one that I've been working on for a little bit that you'll oh my god, wait, I forgot to show y'all. I finished my star blanket. I don't think I showed y'all this, because I've been keeping a stitch marker on it so I could show y'all the progress that I made on it. So where is it? Of course I chose like the worst color to put a stitch marker, and I chose blue. This blanket is blue. Where is my stitch marker? Mother trucker, dude. I wonder if it came off. It's been on this whole time. I wonder if it finally fell off. Ah, okay. So this is where I left y'all. Here's my stitch marker. Yeah, y'all can see that. And so literally I just did this chunk and I finished it. I ran out of yarn, so that was it. So yeah, so I finished it, very pretty, and then I added like this scalloped edge around it, and yeah, it matches my room perfectly, blue and green. and I really like it. I've been using it at my desk. I will say it's not as warm as my Granny Square blanket that I made with like all the fall colors, just because obviously this is a bit more holey and this yarn is a bit thinner, but I'm still really loving it. So I have been having to use like a second blanket, but this has been really nice and I'm happy to have finally finished it. This is kind of my winter blanket. I am trying to make seasonal blankets, so I've made my fall one, and this is my winter, which I realize not everybody's gonna look at this and think winter, but I have this, or had a really pretty screensaver that was like blue, green, and kind of like, you know, tan, kind of, you know, warm yellow with like Christmas lights, blah blah blah. And so that's kind of what inspired the color palette. So yeah, so this is the winter blanket, and I think next I'm gonna make the spring blanket and then summer blanket. So yeah, but that'll be months and months and months later because I have a lot of other projects to occupy me right now, and I'd like to space out the blankets because they take so long. So yeah, so we finished that. Okay, now into the whips. Oh, also, I don't know the yarn for this. I'll put it in the description. There's a lot, so I'll put it in there. So kind of an interesting whip because this is technically done. I just need buttons. However, I don't know if I want buttons anymore. So this is the yarn. So this yarn is from Lion brand. It is their Insta Knit yarn where they have actually the loops already pre-done for you. I just cut it off. I just liked it for the color. This is in the color Stopping Traffic, so yeah, it does give traffic cone, I guess. And it's 80% acrylic, 19% wool, 1% polyester, and it's super bulky. And I hate orange, but for some reason this color called to me, and you know, Joann's was, you know, doing its 70% off things, so I could not resist, and I got this yarn for very, very little money. I think I got like 8 skeins for like the cost of 2. So I did really well with saving. So anyway, I made a whole cardigan. I made it as a sweater initially, and this one's huge. It goes down quite low. I'll show y'all. I am in my pajamas. I do apologize. But this is kind of what it looks like. So it's quite long and I really like it. It's very comfy, nice and chunky. Haven't blocked it out yet, but I really like it. And I steeked it, so it's quite messy on the inside. It didn't really steek very well. It's kind of like falling apart on the inside. So that kind of sucked. But the thing that really pisses me off is that I accidentally cut a piece of yarn while I was steeking this, so I need to do some surgery here. Now all I need, also what I want to do is kind of clean up these edges and kind of just crochet this down, so that way it's not as messy. And then I'm not really sure what to do about all of this, so yeah, so I'm not really sure what to do there, so any help would be appreciated if y'all know what to do about scraggly ends. I'm tempted to go through and like crochet this down to just give it a bit more structure, because like also this is like yeah, so I clearly did not think this through when I was steeking it, but it is what it is. So we definitely need to fix it. So I need buttons though. Also, this is the, trying to think, I think this is actually the cardigan number 9 pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear, or is it cardigan 7? I believe that's what I used, and I just kind of did my own thing because obviously, actually this yarn was pretty close to gauge actually, so I didn't have to change it too much. Yeah, cardigan 7, number 7. So yeah, and I did 1x1 ribbing. I started with twisted ribbing and it did not look good, so I unraveled that, and then I had also done a rolled, like, you know, cast off, like the cloud sweater. That didn't look good just because the yarn's so chunky, so I just did a 1x1 rib and just cast it off like normal. And so you can see here it's also very but yeah, I really like it. It's nice and chunky, and I think this will be perfect for winter when it's cold. I just need to get buttons. I didn't even make I didn't even make buttonholes because you can stick your thumb through it pretty well. I probably could have gone down a needle size, but I was like, I'm not going down another needle size with this thick of yarn. So I just need some buttons, and I'm trying to think. I think I want to either do like those, I think it's like the toggle buttons, or just like big fat buttons. Alternatively, I'm also kind of thinking of turning it into like a zipper sweater. So I have a couple zippers, and I'm thinking of just sewing down a zipper and turning it into a zipper sweater, and then maybe just like sewing on buttons to kind of give the illusion of a cardigan. So I think that is also an option of what I might do. And then if that's the case, then that probably would kind of secure this down a bit better since it'll be sewn. But yeah, I really like this. It's just kind of been sitting in purgatory at the moment because I don't know what to do with it. So we'll figure that out eventually. I don't feel like figuring it out right now. But I do really like this yarn. Very soft, and if you need help with the cast on, it has the loops already there for you to get started. Although it's only like a limited amount, so I'm not really sure what else you're supposed to do with this. But yeah, I did have to break out the my old metal needles for this because I have C-knit needles, but they only go to like a 6mm, and I needed like a 13. Although I think I went down to like a 10. I don't know. I used a 13 and it was too holy, so I kept going down, and I think I got to like a 10. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like a terrible podcaster. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, but anyway. Oh, did I say 13mm? US 10. US 13, US 10, not 10mm, 13mm. I think that's the right terminology. Anyway, so I really like this yarn. If you happen to have it around, I would definitely recommend trying it, although I believe when it's not on sale, it's actually kind of expensive. I think it's like $13 or something. I don't know, but it's pretty expensive. But yes, did really enjoy this. So I have like 2.5 skeins left of this, and I'm not really sure what to do with it. It most likely will get put into my scrap blanket, but for now I have it in like my project yarn until I figure out what to do with it, because I could make like a sweater or something, or maybe I was thinking of making like a beanie on days that I don't want to wear my bangs out. So then, going along the lines of my knitted leg warmers, I am now making like a knitted boat neck top for dance. So I just cast it on, I think 200 stitches, and did the same rolled hem kind of thing, and I'll probably have to put elastic in the top as well, but it's just going to be like an off the shoulder kind of just straight or like boat neck vibe. And I think I've reached the point where I'm going to split for sleeves, but I may also knit for like another 1.5 inches maybe, and then put some sleeve stitches on hold, and then keep going down the body. And I'm gonna make it pretty cropped, probably gonna sit it at my hips, and then I'd like to do long sleeve arms and like more like form fitting if I can get that right. So that's kind of the plan for this. So not much to talk about. We've already talked about me liking the yarn, and we're not really anywhere concrete right now in terms of design. I'm doing this on my own, no pattern, just kind of figuring out it as I go. So that's that. So I won't spend too much time on this, but potentially this could be done and could be wearable by the next podcast. I also have another scarf that I'm working on. This is almost done. I just haven't finished it. So I had some blue and green K&C Cloud Paca yarn that I bought in the last podcast, and what I've done is hold it together to get whatever this is. Kind of looks like ice cream sorbet or something. Really pretty, I think. And then I had one extra ball of the Cloud Paca, so I'm just like color blocking, and I'm almost done with the green and the pink. I believe the pink is called Cotton Candy, and then the green, I don't know, mint probably. And so I'm just gonna keep going until I'm done. And I've saved enough of the colony blue to add fringe to the bottom, so that way it kind of ties it a bit better together. All these colors don't really go together, but I don't know, it's kind of fun. Helps me use up some yarn at least. Kind of wish I'd used this to make like a beanie or something, or maybe some fingerless gloves, but too late now. So yeah, just a basic garter shawl, scarf, and at the edges I'm knitting on the right side and then purling on the wrong side, so that way you get a bit of an edge here, and then in the middle it's just knit on both sides. I have these cute needle stoppers. They're little apples. I got them during the sale. It also came with avocados, but I don't really use the avocados ones as much, so yeah. Anyway, again, not much to say about this. Love the yarn, like we've already mentioned, and just a basic garter scarf. Okay, last whip. I have made a lot of progress on my scrap blanket. So if you don't know, I have this giant scrap blanket that I've been working on for quite some time. It started off because I was using up some yarn that I used for a school project, and then it just kind of turned into a scrap blanket. It was supposed to be a scarf, and then I just made it like way too long, not really thinking, and so now it's just turned into a scrap blanket, and I have made so much progress on this. I think the last time I saw y'all I was like halfway, and now I've added on a whole nother half, so I've doubled it in width, and I'm very happy with how it's turning out. I love how this is all turning out because it's like my pretty yarn now, whereas this was like the yarn that I didn't like as much, and then now this is all the pretty yarn. And I'm adding tassels at the end that I'm going to cut when it's done, and I'll fill in with more yarn, kind of the spaces in between the tassels, and then that way we can have like a fun tassel-y blanket. And so this is very long. If I were to wear it, this is how big it is. So it's massive. It's very big. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to double this again, so that way it is the width of my bed and a bit longer. And then right now it's twice the length of my bed. So once I'm done, I'm going to like crochet halfway down the length of this and basically steek it essentially, and then sew two halves together, or crochet the two halves together. So that's the plan, and then I'll get like a really fun large blanket, and I want to position it so that way the yarn, you know, that way it's kind of like the same colors on the ends, if that makes sense. So like, does that make sense? Anyway, so like you get bits of the same yarn on each side, so it looks a bit more uniform than it is. So yeah, this is just a mixture of all my scrap yarn, mostly acrylic, but some wool as I've, you know, bought nicer yarn. And yeah, again, not much to say about this, but it is so big now that the box I used to keep it in, I can't keep it in anymore because it's just too big for it. So I have to like roll it up and put it in my closet, but this will definitely be great for like really, really cold nights, or like if the heater goes out, God forbid. So yeah, this will be great for that. And I'm just like, it's just so fun now. Like I'm actually really liking it now, because initially when I was doing this half, I was like, this is butt ugly. But now that I'm doing this half, I'm like, wow, so pretty. I get to use all my yarn. So yeah, and I'll have y'all know that I used up all my yarn. This is not empty anymore. Okay, I lied. So I did not use up all my yarn. I have this skein left, which I'm not really sure what to do with because it's just slightly too thin to use on its own, but I don't have anything to hold with it, although now I do. I'll explain in a second. So now this can be used, thankfully. And then I just have this yarn that I was gonna save for like another accessory, but I've decided to put it in the scrap yarn so I can use it for this blanket. And then all this new yarn, like these blues, the greens, the sparkly black, this orange, my roommate gave me. She had some yarn that she didn't want anymore, and I was like, just give it to me and I'll stick it in this blanket. Like, whatever yarn you don't want, give it to me. So yeah, that's great. We now have a bit more yarn for the scrap blanket so we can continue working on it. But I was working on this for like a good couple of weeks while I was here, and we ended up clearing out basically all of this yarn, which is really nice. And so now we have filled it up again so we can get to working on it again. So the scrap blanket is dependent on the scrap bag and its capacity, so it can be worked on again. But I'll probably take a break from it because I did a lot of work on it, so yeah, maybe in a few months we'll come back to it. So that's all my whips. Yeah, that was a lot. Lots of finished objects that y'all haven't seen yet, lots of whips that y'all haven't seen yet, so I'm very happy to have all that done. And now we need to talk about all my new yarn. I've bought a lot of new yarn recently. No like sweaters quantities of yarn. This is all kind of accessory stuff, so we'll go through it and I'll explain like where I've gotten it and like my plans for it. So I'm gonna set that aside. I don't know what I'm doing with this yet. It might turn into the scrap blanket, but first of all, let's see. I think you'll have seen a few of this. I bought this yarn recently to kind of mend my kind of sweater that I've had the longest. The elbows are coming apart, so I kind of wanted to try and double knit to kind of fix the sleeves. So that's kind of just what that's for. So we're not really going to talk about it, but I have also, I believe, shown y'all my sock yarn. This still hasn't been used. I kind of realized that I don't really wear my socks, like my knitted socks. However, since it is very cold in this apartment, I may end up wearing my knitted socks a bit more. So those may be socks, but they may also be for a different project, and I'll let y'all know what that's about. So yes, let's get into it. So first and foremost, me and my mom went to Austin like a couple months ago, like back in March, I think, actually, right after that video, right after I posted the the March podcast. So they have a couple yarn stores in Austin, which is great. So we went to one, I believe it's called Gauge. I don't remember what it's called. I'll put it on the screen if I can remember it. But I did buy some yarn from there. So first of all, I just fell in love with this yarn. This is from Juniper Moon Farm. This is their Fairy Floss yarn, which is air spun baby alpaca and extra fine wool blend. It's 73% extra fine wool, 15% baby alpaca, and 12% polyamide. Checking the time. Okay, I have places to be. But this is like super bulky, but I mean, I feel like it's pretty thin, actually. I feel like it's just the halo that makes it pretty bulky. And yeah, it's so pretty. You get 328 yards, and I just love like the green and the yellow. And then actually in here, you can't really see it. It goes into brown and then blue. And so I'm so excited to use this. I saw it and just fell in love. It is pretty expensive. It's $30. I really wanted to get a second one of this, but I decided just to go for one. And my plan is to make the Harai scarf. I forgot who it's by, but I just think it's really pretty. I first saw Florence from Handmade by Florence talk about it when she made it for like a May ball, and I was like, ooh, I really like that. I want to make that. The lace pattern is so pretty. And so I'm just gonna get some chunky needles and make that scarf, because I think it'll just be so pretty. And I'll probably make it a bit thinner because I think I want it to be more of a scarf than like a shoulder scarf shawl thing. So yeah, we'll see how long it gets. I don't think it'll get very big, but maybe we can block it a little bit. But I'm very excited to use this. So yeah. And then also from that yarn store, I got old rusted chair hand-dyed yarns, which is hand-dyed in Nashville, Tennessee. This is the color Hose Cat Get My Coffee. I don't know if that's like a reference to anything, but it's called Squish 4-ply fingering, and it's 100% superwash merino, 438 yards. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. This kind of purpley blue with like bits of green in there. I'm obsessed. And I saw it, I immediately wanted it, and I love it. And so I'm gonna make a shawl, just a basic garter shawl, because I'm a basic bitch at this point. But I love it. There's like hints of like more of a pinky purple in there, and I just think it's so pretty. And I think what I'm gonna do is actually pair it with, I think, this sock yarn, because they're the same weight pretty much. Yeah, and I just think this would be really pretty together, or alternatively I could pair it with the turquoise. I feel like maybe the turquoise might look good, but I'm gonna start off with this color, and then we'll decide on one of these two, and so then I can make like a really, really big shawl, and I think it'll be very nice. So excited for that. Those are my plans for that. I got both of those in Austin. And then I have, oh no, this one's falling apart. Okay. So my old roommate is in New Zealand. Oh dear, this is, okay, there we go. And so they were like, what do you want from New Zealand as like a souvenir? And I was like, if you can find like some yarn and you would like to send that to me, go ahead. And I was like, it doesn't have to be expensive yarn. It can be literally like the cheapest yarn in the store. I just want like yarn from New Zealand because I think that'd be a lot of fun. Tell me why they bought me cashmere. They bought me cashmere. So this is Zealana Air. It is a lace weight, 25 gram, 175 meters, 100% cashmere. Or it's not, no wait, hold on. Blended cashmere and brush tail possum down. So it's 40% cashmere, 40% brush tail possum down, and 20% mulberry silk. I was like, what are you doing getting me cashmere? And yeah, so this is from New Zealand. I don't know if it was made in New Zealand. I think it was. It's called Zealana Air, and they got me these two colors, this very beautiful like turquoisey blue, and then this beautiful oatmeal. And they sent me a card, a very sweet card with a pattern. So they were talking with the yarn store owner. Where is my pattern? It's in, there it is. They were talking with the yarn store owner, and the yarn store owner was like, hey, this yarn goes with a free pattern, let me get it for you. And so they printed out a copy for me, well, for my roommate, and then my roommate gave it to me, and it's this really pretty color work, and I've never done color work like this before, so I'm very excited to jump into it. This will be my next project after I work on a different project, which I'll talk about, and so hopefully I can get this done in time for winter. But it's so pretty. I believe it's a free pattern, and it is Junka's Quarantarium Hat by Kurt Payne with adaptation by Junka Hirano. And so it's this beautiful like pattern, color work pattern. I think it's free, but just in case I won't show y'all. But even like the yarn owner like wrote some notes down, and so that was very sweet of them. So very excited to make that, and that is just going to be like the nicest hat I own. And it's cashmere. I'm like, oh my god, you're spoiling me. So very excited about that. And then I have three more yarns that I purchased while on travel. So me and my mom went to Maine, and then also Salem, Massachusetts. And we went to Maine for like a week, and just had the most wonderful time there. Life was great, and I just, like, everything was wonderful. And they had some yarn stores in Maine. We went to Portland specifically, so we spent a lot of time, you know, looking at lighthouses, eating a lot of good food, and doing a lot of shopping. So I found this like fabric store, and we were just passing by it to go to like a sock store, and I took a look at it and I went, yarn! And my mom was like, okay, so we're going in. There was a different yarn store in Portland that we didn't make it to, but I didn't realize that this fabric store also had yarn. So when I saw it, I was very excited. So first of all, I just got some Cascade 220. I've been wanting to try Cascade 220 for a while. So I'm very glad that I found one. This is fingering, and I got it on sale. It's 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and you get 273 yards. So I got this beautiful autumnal orange because initially I was going to pair it with this yarn and make another shawl. However, I'm not going to pair it with this yarn, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, it's very soft. I really like it. I can see why people like it so much. So I just got that. But then I got this yarn, which is from a dyer in Rockland, Maine. So this is On the Round. on the round. On the round. Oh my god, I thought it was okay. ontheround.com. On the round. It looks like it says on the round. Anyway, okay. So this is Nimble Sock Superwash Merino with nylon. It is fingering weight and 394 yards. And it's just this beautiful color. It's called Rebel, and it just has all these beautiful, like, earthy jewel tones. There's green, there's pink, there's purple. It's just like a jewel, like, rainbow color, you know? And I'm obsessed with it. I'm so excited to get into this and see how it works up. So initially, I saw this orange in there and I was like, oh my god, I'll pair these two together and make a shawl. I just want to make another shawl like this. However, I got home and I was like, actually, I think the pink would be a lot cuter with it and just kind of brighten it up a bit. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I have this pink yarn from Oklahoma, actually, when I went to go visit my sister up there for her graduation. And I haven't found a project to use it with, and I think it would be perfect with this. I just think it looks really cute. So that's what I'm gonna use that for. So that's great that I can finally use that yarn. But yeah, I got these two from Maine. And then I got this one from Salem, Massachusetts. So we drove down to Salem for the day and had a lot of fun, you know, visiting the town and seeing all the history. And so this is a dyer from Salem, Toil and Trouble, hand-dyed yarns from the Witch City, and they have the cutest little crow on here with a yarn ball. So cute. And so this is the color Pumpkin King, and it's 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, and then 10% nylon, and it's 437 yards. Hand-dyed in small batches by Fiber Witches, and I just thought that was so cute. And it's just the most wonderful, perfect Salem yarn. Like, it's Halloween. You got the black and kind of the gray and the orange and then the bits of the green. I love it. And I was like, oh my god, I have to get some yarn. And then I got home and I was like, wait a minute. So yeah, and initially I was gonna make a shawl out of this. However, I don't know if I still want to make a shawl or if I want to try and make striped leg warmers. Obviously I have two different amounts of yarn. I have half of the amount of this yarn, so the stripes would have to be a bit different, and I believe these are different weights, but I think they're close enough that I could get away with using the both of them together. So I'm thinking, should I make like a stripy set of leg warmers for Halloween? That was my plan, but now I'm like, ooh, what if I really just want to do another shawl? I'm in my grandma era, y'all. I just can't get enough of shawls. They're just fun to make. Yeah, anyway, so let me know what y'all think I should do with this, but that's kind of my thinking. So I think that's all of the yarn I have. I also have some new stitch markers, actually. So I don't have a lot of stitch markers, so I kind of wanted to get a couple more, so I got 3. So in Maine, I got these lobster stitch markers. How perfect. Obviously, I had to get the lobster ones. And then when I was in Salem, I found Ghost. Had to get the Ghost. And then also in Salem, they had little rainbows. So my mom bought me the rainbow stitch markers. So I was very happy about that. So that, I think, is everything that I got. There's a lot to show you. Oh my god. Yeah, so there was a bunch to show y'all. Kind of a little crazy podcast. So much stuff. I have so much stuff to put up. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed everything. We definitely were speeding through all of this, because I could probably sit here and talk for like another 3 hours about everything, but I know y'all don't want to sit for that long, so hopefully y'all don't mind me just speaking at the speed of light. But yes, anyway, I think that is everything. So lots of fun new finished objects, lots of fun things that I'm working on, lots of new yarn, so I'm definitely good for a while. We're going to be making a lot of accessories, because all I have here is accessory like amounts of yarn now, so we'll definitely have some accessory heavy episodes over the next, you know, few podcast episodes, but eventually we will go back to making a good old sweater or cardigan. So yes, anyway, I think that is everything. So let me know what y'all have been working on. I'd love to hear any like thing new that you've casted on. I love getting new inspo. Let me know what y'all think about like if I should make like striped leg warmers or just go with a good old shawl. I was so sold on the leg warmers, but now I kind of want to do a shawl again. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, that is everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!